When we talk about real-life superheroes, usually we imagine a doctor or soldier or someone else who could have saved lives. We rarely imagine children as being superheroes or having superpowers. But all this is about to change, because in today's Top 10, we have kids that have actual superpowers. How is that possible, you ask? Well, watch and you'll learn, and stay with us until the end of the video for a little challenge. Number 1 is Arline Heyman. You know these memes that show your brain telling you something embarrassing you did when you're trying to sleep? Well, we can all relate to those, but apparently some of us more than others. That's the case with Arline Heyman, who was featured in a documentary back in 2012 called The Boy Who Can't Forget. You can see where this is going, right? Heyman is one of the very few people in the world who has hyperthymesia, otherwise called highly superior autobiographical memory. That means since he was 11 years old, he can remember everything he's done, and we mean everything. Not only the important things, what he ate when he was 14, what music was playing on the radio 10 years ago, any day, any time, what he was wearing, what he was feeling. You get the drill. Everything. Now, this is definitely a superpower that doesn't come in handy if you're trying to pick a fight about a past event, but could be very useful if you keep forgetting where you leave your car keys all the time. Number 2 is Lucas Murray. Lucas may have been born blind, but he adapted to it better than most people. We could even say, and we're not exaggerating, that he developed a superpower to make up for his lost vision. When he was 5 years old, Lucas started using his ears to be able to see the world around him. How did he do it? He would click his tongue against the roof of his mouth and listen for echoes, which in turn would tell him of objects in his vicinity. This process is called echolocation, and it's quite common actually. And when we say common, we mean among bats and dolphins and some specific species of whales, but definitely not in humans. And not only that, but as all superheroes, Lucas had a mentor who taught him to do it, and Lucas, being a real superhero, mastered the craft in just 3 days and then used it to be able to go around without the need of any help. Number 3 is Ramu. Ramu has a life story that perfectly fits both a fairy tale and an action-packed movie with superheroes. Ramu was about 10 years old in 1976 when he was found in an Indian forest living with a pack of wolves. Yes, you heard us correctly. He was not passing by wolves. He was not found fighting for his life. No, he was living with them as one of their own. Ramu walked on all fours, only ate raw meat, and never had lived among humans in his life. Mother Teresa took him under her wing and taught the boy how to bathe and wear clothes, and although he never learned to speak and was never able to lose the taste for raw meat or hide his hunting abilities, he only survived for 10 more years after he was found. Number 4 is Domenico Bacon. Domenico is the boy who cannot be killed, knock on wood. In 2007, when he was just 3 years old, a 40-foot tree fell on him, crushing both his skull and his legs. But to the amazement and relief of everyone, Domenico only didn't die, he survived without a significant amount of brain damage and learned how to walk again very quickly. Of course, a big part of Domenico's recovery was due to the amazing medical treatment he received, but both his parents and the doctors say that if it wasn't for his amazing determination to live, he wouldn't have made it. They also say that Domenico's brain rerouted itself so the damage the accident caused to some areas of his brain had minimum effect. Now that is truly awe-inspiring. Number 5 is Atus. If this boy ever decides to become a superhero, he should definitely consider using the name Unfreezable as his alias. Here's what you need to know before we continue with the story. Humans begin to experience hypothermia when their core body temperature drops below 95 degrees Fahrenheit, with death usually occurring at about 70 degrees. That's it. Now back to Ada's story. The toddler who defied all logic, he survived a whole night in the freezing cold with his body temperature dropping all the way down to 54 degrees Fahrenheit. The doctors were left with their mouths open because he not only survived the night, but came out of the coma unscathed. Number 6, Lukas Vondracek. We consider a child a prodigy when they demonstrate professional abilities before the age of 10. Although they are as rare as 1 in 10 million, we've all heard stories of child prodigies. Here's what you need to know about Lucas, one of the child prodigies featured on the list today. He gave his first concert at the age of 4. He went on his first international tour at the age of 10, and performed at Carnegie Hall at the age of 16. Although many child prodigies lose their talent in adulthood, Lucas not only didn't lose his, but now at 33 he continues to tour the world and holds concerts. A true musical genius. Number 7 is Jacob Barnett. When Jacob Barnett was 2 years old, he was diagnosed with autism, and his parents were told their son might never be able to tie his own shoes in his life. A little surprise awaited them all, though, and when we say little, we mean huge. Jacob has an IQ of 170, which is 30 points higher than Einstein. And before you say, well, IQ doesn't mean that much, understand that Jacob finished grades 6 through 12 in less than 1 year and went to college when he was 10 years old, and he became a published physicist at the age of 13. Wish we could look and only see the faces of those doctors who were so magnificently wrong. Number 8 is Ruth Lawrence. When we look back at ourselves at 10 years old, the memories we bring back are possibly from a kid's party or a nice summer vacation or maybe our first crush. But Ruth Lawrence's memories when she was 10 are a little different. You see, Ruth was accepted into Oxford University when she was 10 and became the youngest person to ever be accepted. But she didn't stop there. She completed her degree in 2 years and scored the highest grades out of all her class. Now she's a mathematician and associate professor of mathematics at the Einstein Institute of Mathematics, Hebrew University of Jerusalem, as well as a researcher in knot theory and algebraic topology. Who knew someone could love math that much? Number 9 is Adam Kirby. Mensa is the International Society of Geniuses. Being accepted there, as you can imagine, it's a big deal. Now imagine being the youngest person who's ever accepted there. If that's not a superpower, I don't know what is, but maybe Adam Kirby could tell me, since he was that youngest member of Mensa. When Adam was 1 year old, he potty trained himself after reading a book on the subject. Hear that again. When Adam was 1 year old, he potty trained himself after reading a book on the subject. That's when his parents knew he might not be a very normal toddler. When he was 2, he scored a 141 on the Stanford-Binet IQ test and qualified for membership in Mensa. We really can't wait to see what he'll do when he's older. Number 10 is Daniel Rhodes. When he was just 9 years old, little Daniel Rhodes became a professional magician and illusionist, which made him hold the title of the youngest magician in Great Britain and also one of the youngest in the world. He fell instantly in love with magic at only 6 years old when he was given a basic magic kit for Christmas. Daniel is the human equivalent of the quote, "Follow your passion," and we can't be happier that now at 16, he continues being a professional magician, stunning crowds with his elaborate tricks. Way to go, inspiring kid. Way to go. If you're feeling like an absolute failure after listening to all these kids with superpowers, don't despair. We feel the same way too. So instead of leaving you with this sad feeling, we'll leave you with this challenge. Go to the description and click on the link and take a shot at the Mensa quiz. Who knows, you might be a genius yourself and don't even know it. But don't forget to come back and post your results in the comments. See you next time.